What a week. It all goes by so fast, especially when you're in a special place like Toledo Bend. Sometimes you just want to stop, take a breath, and remember what you have seen this week. Let's do it with our Humminbird Unlock the Lake. And we'll start it out with Ben Milliken. Ben Milliken, who came into this thing with a lot of advanced billing, Mark Zona, and a lot of anticipation.
Exactly right. Taking a look at your Humminbird Unlock the Lake with Ben Milliken in Pirates Cove. He kind of utilized the Housen area when we had big winds on day number one, but it was kind of shifting gears going into Pirates Cove, somewhere where we have seen a tournament won in years past with Kevin Van Dam, but this is a different scenario this time around, targeting standing timber and isolated stumps that Ben Milliken said at the day 3 weigh-in, he weighed in about 26 pounds, said, I feel like there is about 105 to 7 pounders setting up, moving in to spawn. A jighead minnow, also utilized a jerk bait throughout this tournament. Wasn't a big bait situation like we got to see Ben Milliken do when he won the Open here. Those fish were not on the giant gizzard shad, on hard spots, clay points. This was more of a tapering 10 out to 20 feet of water. But the one thing for sure, Ben Milliken, throughout this tournament, whenever he was in Pirates Cove, predominantly he was left alone.
Patrick Walters, of course, just an overwhelming pick to be one of the top contenders, if not the top contender, in Progressive Angler of the Year points. Also, everyone expecting him to do well here, and he has.
Yeah, exactly. And really looking at your Humminbird Unlock the Lake, the main thing was late on day number one, Patrick Walters got in the Housen area with a lot of your other leaders. And what makes that area special, number one, is very, very diverse. A lot of hydrilla, a lot of eelgrass. Not that all the population was focusing on that. Patrick Walters said really 20 to 30 feet of water standing timber. Not a ton of bait in the area where he caught the giant bag. But throughout this tournament, Patrick Walters said, I was never on big numbers. I was just on quality, concentrating on little creek channel swings throughout the entire event.
Seems like anytime we're near 100 pounds, Tommy, Patrick Walters shows up. He ended the last year winning the St. Lawrence River and breaking the Century Club. He's done that multiple times. He's close to it this week, but definitely in contention when we get close to 100 pounds.
How about a young man like so many rookies in recent years, just comes out here and performs, behaves like he's been on the Elite Series for 5 years already.
Yeah, and really for 90% of this tournament, Robert G., rookie on the Bassmaster Elite Series, Tommy, very impressive. His worst finish in the Bassmaster Opens last year was on this body of water, Toledo Bend, down in the 70s. Said, I'm going to do a little bit of homework before the cutoff, focusing on standing timber. Like I said, 90% of his time was spent on the Louisiana side, just around the corner from our takeoff at Cypress Bend Park. And the great thing to see with this young man throughout this event, predominantly left alone. And the other key factor, if you looked at Robert G. throughout this tournament, he was around more bait, more threadfin shad than anybody else in the field.
Robert G., obviously a part of our great crop of rookies, finished 4th in the Open's EQ points last year. Tommy, the former University of Tennessee volunteer, what a debut showing for him on the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Here's the angler who took over the lead after day number 2. This is Pat Schlapper of Wisconsin. Pat Schlapper has had some magnificent performances in his 5 years on the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Now, it's hard to tell, but you
33.
see him fishing in Housen right here on the southwest corner of Toledo Bend. So popular, so many local tournaments won here. A lot of pressure throughout this tournament. And listen to Pat Schlapper concentrating on 20 to 30 feet of water, but he would get kind of on the outskirts of the main pressure that was in the mouth of Housen. Concentrating with a jighead minnow. Stellar performance. Got to see him day 1, 27.4, day 2, 28.5. Then it started to get a little bit shaky, a little lighter on day 3, but a great performance from this Wisconsin angler. And he said the main key for him, stay out of the crowds. Not catching a ton of fish, but the quality was definitely there for Pat Schlapper.
He came into the final day with a 6-pound lead. That's all you can ask for, but it did not turn out well today. Smallest limit of the week by far. He needed that 8.8 and 7.12 that he caught on day 2.
What a performance, starting with day number 1 right out of the box. Goyo Fujita.
Yeah, exactly. And Koya Fujita, like so many anglers, using his forward-facing sonar, more kind of where, and how we got to really learn this, really more where the main creek channel was at in house. And the reason why you would see so many boats running close to him, looking at about 30 feet of water, standing timber. But right here, on the final day of this tournament, going around the corner closer to Indian Mounds, an area that he said he saved for the final day. Obviously a master with his electronics. Hats off to Koya Fujita. All of his damage in the southwest area of Toledo Bend.
At a certain point on this final day, Tommy, the 4-pounder that he had in his live well was the biggest he had all morning. And when it came down to it, he was culling 4 to 5 pounders. He has 7 of the 13 biggest fish on the final day. What a masterclass, coming back from 6 pounds down to possibly winning by double digits.
And here's the best way to put it. He just outfished all of the competition around him, and there were tons of boats around him the entire event.
Boy, just keeping momentum up from 9 events last year in 2023. And there it is, your Humminbird Unlock the Lake.